evening and welcome to the 7 o'clock news here on CNC3. I'm Charlene Ramdani.
Good evening. Glad you can join us. I'm Samson Nanton.
In the headlines tonight, the National Security Minister and acting top cop meet with religious leaders in a bid to address the crime situation. Caught on camera, police seek help in apprehending a shoplifter.
Tourism Minister Stephen Cadi's back home. He says he's still at a loss as to what caused him to collapse in Miami. The Finance and Planning Ministers confirm unemployment rate below 5%. Union leaders don't agree.
And in sports, Simoy Hackett finishes down the field in women's 200 final. Top of our news tonight. Persons between the ages of 14 to 29 are said to be the biggest challenge to the fight against crime in this country. This is revealed by Acting Police Commissioner Stephen Williams. Chester Sombrano tells us more.
As National Security Minister Jack Warner continues to put the pieces together to form his much-anticipated crime plan, which he says is nearing completion, he met on Wednesday with several religious leaders from across the country and the top security officials to get their input. Following the lengthy meeting, Acting Police Commissioner Stephen Williams says there are some hindrances in reducing crime, the younger generation at the top of the list.
The persons involved in violent crime in Trinidad and Tobago, the dominant age group is 14 to 29.
As he sought to explain how this crime problem will be dealt with, Acting Police Commissioner Williams said will be introduced.
What I can assure the nation, there is no aggressive approach to policing by any increase in an approach in shooting citizens out there in the country.
Head of the interreligious organization, Harry Prasad Murad, said the criminal elements among the younger generation is being fueled somewhat by technology. He said technology is contributing to the negative attitude and crime among youths.
The type of material that the young people are exposed to nowadays is something that I'm not quite sure how we can restrict it or how we can monitor it, but so much exposure is there for the young people that can influence the quality of their minds.
National Security Minister Jack Warner believes an integral part of tackling crime is having a local police commissioner who would be able to more effectively bring down crime in this country.
As far as I consist, I think there are local people here who are quite competent to be commissioner of police.
The religious leaders will stage a national day of prayer to help tackle crime on August 26th. For CNC3, I am Chester Sombrano.
And that's the story which takes us to your vote tonight. The question we want you to tell us, do you agree that exposure to technology has contributed to the rise in crime among youths? Text your response to the number 2623. If your response is yes, you're texting the letter Y, and if it's no, the letter N. We'll give you an update on the voting as we go along in tonight's newscast, and the final vote at the very end. The country's murder toll has increased by 2 with the killings of Jivan Navas at Pinto Road in Rima and taxi driver Roland Chase of Paradise Heights in Mova. In the most recent incident, police say at around 4:30 this afternoon, Navas was walking along Righteous Lane in Pinto Road, Rima, when gunshots rang out. The injured man, who was found bleeding on the roadway, was rushed to the Arima Medical Facility where he succumbed to his injuries. Police have no motive for his killing. In the other incident, at around 9 o'clock on Tuesday evening, residents of Cipriani Road in Mova heard gunshots and upon checking, found Chase lying in a pool of blood in the front seat of his car. Police suspect the well-known bandit and gang member was killed by someone he knew who was in the car with him at the time. They also seized a quantity of ammunition in the glove compartment. Police suspect the killing is gang-related. 1 man is dead, 1 is shot, 4 are captured, several firearms and a stolen vehicle recovered in 2 separate incidents involving police between Tuesday evening and Wednesday morning. In the most recent incident, which took place at Mary Allen Street in Cunupia, following the larceny of a Ford Ranger van from St. Joseph shortly after 6 on Tuesday morning, Police Information Officer Sergeant Wayne Meister tells us what happened.
While the officers were inspecting the vehicle, they were approached by another vehicle with 3 suspicious men. They attempted to intercept that vehicle, which later stopped, and as the officers were approaching the vehicle sped off and began firing at the police, who returned fire. 1 man, 25 years, of Santa Cruz was shot and taken to the Eric Williams Medical Science Complex, where he was pronounced dead on arrival. Another, a 30-year-old man, was detained and one other man escaped.
Up to news time, the deceased has not been identified. In the second incident, shortly after 6 on Tuesday evening, police responded to reports of a shooting in the Samara village area following a high-speed chase and shootout which crossed the priority bus route and the Eastern Main Road. The car crashed on Jean Street. 2 men came out shooting. Sergeant Meister again explains what took place.
The officers attempted to intercept the vehicle when the occupants of the B-15 opened fire on the officers who returned fire. The driver of the B-15 motor vehicle eventually lost control and crashed the said vehicle in a ditch. 3 occupants of the said vehicle were arrested. However, one of the occupants escaped. 3 firearms were recovered, namely 2 semi-automatic pistols and a shotgun together with 4 12-gauge cartridges. Inquiries later revealed that around 5 p.m. the said day, the victim, a 21-year-old man of Arima, was crossing the priority bus route when a dark-colored Nissan B-15 with 4 occupants pulled alongside him and opened fire, wounding him on his right hand.
But still on crime news, a man was caught on camera shoplifting at a Unipet convenience store in South Trinidad. The police are now seeking the public's help to apprehend the thief. Cameron Ivan Tulsi brings you the footage of the thief in action.
Take a good look at this thief in action. He moves around the Harmony Hall mini-mart in Marabella calmly and unaware he's being filmed as he brazenly takes up items off the shelf and carries them to his loot bag by the door. As he leaves, he even gets help by an unsuspecting customer who does the courteous thing and holds the door for him as he leaves with his bag full of stolen items such as sausages, cheese and deodorant. The Unipet convenience store owner says the man has a history of shoplifting at his store.
When we watched shooting footage on him, we saw him putting it in a bag. In his bag from his pocket, he put inside his pocket and then he had a bag where the basket is on the outside. Normally when people come in inside the quick shop, they'll put a bag on front, so not to walk in with it now. Right? So that is why we end up noticing it missing.
Bechu believes the thief made off with some $1,500 worth of items this time around. It is also believed that he could be the same suspect who made off with a loaf of bread and other goods from another mini-mart outside the Uniper service station. Police have since launched a manhunt for the thief and are hoping this broadcast will lead to his arrest. For CNC3, I'm Melissa Williams.
The Tourism Minister Stephen Cadiz is back in the country after being hospitalized in Miami when he collapsed in the airport's baggage claim area. The minister says all tests came up negative and he's still in the dark on what exactly happened. Samson Anton reports.
Tourism Minister Stephen Cadiz on his return to Trinidad and Tobago Tuesday night. He had left for Seattle via Miami on Sunday but collapsed in the baggage collection area of the Miami airport.
We were waiting there on bags. And the next thing I knew, I woke up in a hospital in Miami. So I have obviously I passed out, fainted, collapsed. I did not know what the right term is.
The minister, who was leading a team for meetings with cruise lines in a bid to get them to return to Trinidad and Tobago, says tests were inconclusive.
I mean, they did a series of tests up until this morning, and everything has come back negative. They can't find anything in particular. So whether or not it's exhaustion, whether or not it's something else, I don't know. But I will be going to my doctor tomorrow morning to pursue this thing further, because we shouldn't leave it like that.
He says he did a phone link with his team on Monday, and the prospect of cruise liners returning here seems good.
We spoke with two different cruise lines, Holland America and Windstar, and I think we're going to start seeing. I believe I would wait until the permanent secretary returns, but I believe we have commitment from both of them to return to Trinidad and Tobago.
He says that they are now looking at ways in which Trinidad and Tobago can supply cruise ships with oil and gas, which could bring revenue to this country.
Well, we now go across to Samson Anton. He brings you some more news. Samson.
Thank you very much, Charlene. Before we go on, though, the question you're voting on tonight, once again, we want to find out from you, do you agree that exposure to technology has contributed to the rise in crime among youths. Text your response to the number 2623. If you want to vote yes, text Y. If you want to vote no, text 10. We'll give you an update as we go along, and we'll have the final results at the end of tonight's news. And we also want to get your vote to determine who is the most influential person in Trinidad and Tobago over the last 50 years. Every night, we unveil one of the 50 most influential personalities from the year of our independence in 1962 right up to present day 2012. You can also vote by texting to the number 2623 to tell us who you think is the person most worthy. Well, just ahead on the CNC3 News, 2 government ministers stand by the unemployment rate below 5%. Union leaders, however, say the figures are wrong. Trade unions to commemorate anniversary of state of emergency with massive rally in September. And later protests by some Hill residents as they say jobs are not available to them. These stories and more when we return.
There's nothing quite like being made to feel special. Like you're the top of someone else's personal hit parade. That's how First Citizens wants each and every customer to feel. Whether it's through innovative products and services, new technologies, or a simple smile, we're always thinking about ways to make your day better and your life a little easier. First Citizens, we put you first.
My brother Freddie, he's an actor and a model. And my brother Adam, he works with architects, importing stone and marble from Italy. I like to work hard, play rough. Freddie, on the other hand, he likes to play it smooth. Freddie orders some mini skinny latte. No milk, no sugar, no this, no that. My brother just drinks espresso.
Freddie loves all the attention he can get. For me, being on my own, it's wonderful too.
To be honest, you'll never find me and Fred driving the same car. Steak? Again? Sushi?
Time to let you know.
As we continue, confirmation today from the Minister of Planning and the Economy that unemployment in Trinidad and Tobago is in fact down from 5.2% to 4.9% in the last quarter of 2011. Well, meanwhile, Finance Minister Larry Hawaii says that while there are indicators pointing to a drop in the rate, the business community remains concerned that government's short-term employment programs are tightening the availability of skilled labor in the private sector. We have more in this report from Ria Rambali.
Minister of Planning and the Economy Dr. Bo Tiwari says while unemployment remains high in certain areas such as construction, it has dropped significantly in other areas such as the services industries and short-term labor. He explained to CNC3 News on Wednesday that there are simply fewer persons looking for jobs.
There are areas that are buoyant and in which people have been able to get jobs, and it's on that basis they have their own methodology of doing statistics. Some of the employment that they cover obviously involves temporary employment, like things related to CPEP and URP and stuff like that.
However, Minister Hawaii admits there's anecdotal evidence to suggest that unemployment is down. He explained that at a pre-budget discussion several weeks ago, the business community complained that state makeshift work programs were stifling the availability of skilled labor.
They did indicate to me that there was they were feeling quite a significant tightening, and they felt that perhaps in government we should look at considering whether some of the programs that we have shouldn't be scaled back a bit to facilitate and ease in terms of being able to get the skills that they require in the manufacturing sector.
He says Cabinet will have to discuss how the state's temporary work programs such as CPEP, URP and Color Me Orange are affecting the business community and consider whether or not they should be scaled to size. Meanwhile, Minister Tiwari says temporary work programs have contributed significantly to a reduction in unemployment and have an important role to play in the country's economy. For CNC3, I'm Ria Rambali.
OWTU President Ansel Roche is tonight rejecting the new unemployment figures released by the Central Statistical Office of 4.9%. The figure effectively means that the country is now at full employment. But Mr. Roche says not only is the statistics erroneous, it's just a ploy, he says, by the government to trick the population into thinking all is well.
Those figures are erroneous. That there are those who, while in opposition, the same formula for coming up with those statistics, the same data that is used, a snapshot at any one period in time on the job market, condensed into statistics. Those figures are condemned by those in opposition. When they get into government, they use the same statistics to support their government.
And the joint trade union movement is again making waves. The movement today held a news conference where it announced its intentions to commemorate the state of emergency and also stage a massive rally in Port of Spain on September 7th. Otto Carrington has more.
The issue of privatization in the government sector has generated much debate within the labor movement, with claims that NATUC President Michael Anicet supports the move for privatization and other labor leaders do not. On Wednesday, the Joint Trade Union Movement in a press briefing made it clear that they are not in support of any move. NATUC President Michael Anicet was absent during the press briefing. OWTU President Ansel Rogers says the Joint Trade Union Movement has forwarded a letter to Finance Minister Larry Hawaii, telling him exactly how they feel about any plan for privatization.
The Joint Trade Union leadership is saying no to the issue of privatization, outsourcing, or by any other name, dress up contracting out and dress up in whatever clothes.
BEGU President Vincent Kibera, he was one of the first to respond to the NATUC president. He explains that some labor leaders are in support and some are not, which he says is normal.
I want to be realistic. There is a difference of opinion.
Meantime, the Joint Trade Union Movement says on August 21st, it will ensure that the nation remembers the state of emergency from 2011 and why it was really instituted.
The leadership of the Joint Trade Union Movement will be staging a symbolic action on the halls of justice and elsewhere on August the 21st this year to mark the significance of this dark day and period in our history.
But the labor movement also says it has not forgotten its promise made on Labor Day to hold a massive rally in Port of Spain on September 7th. For CNC3, I am Otto Carrington.
Well, in direct response to the Joint Trade Union Movement's intentions to commemorate the anniversary of the state of emergency with a massive rally in Port of Spain, September 7th, President of the NUGFW, James Lambert, says while all unions are free to do what they want, he's concerned about the political slant the trade union movement appears to be taking and what he says is their lack of support for NUGFW workers.
When they came about and start to involve the political aspect within the Joint Trade Union movement, I withdrew myself. Because I've realized that after certain union would have received the 9%, certain things that we would have discussed, nothing was discussed, and the daily rated workers in the public sector did not get the type of support from the other leaders as it relates to our affairs.
Time now for some positive vibes, and tonight we focus on the work fee the Foundation for the Enhancement and Enrichment of Life has been doing in Toco.
Tonight's Positive Vibes segment is brought to you by Nescafe.
Since 1992, the Foundation for the Enhancement and Enrichment of Life, FEEL, has been doing its best to take people out of poverty and bring relief to victims of disaster. On Tuesday, the CEO of FEEL, Elena Villafana Sylvester, and the rest of the team ventured to the North Coast to assist the people of Toco. Armed with tools, wheelchairs, and even furnishings for schools, the team brought some cheer and hope to those who had been clamoring for assistance. Villafana Sylvester says it's what the organization is all about.
In simplest terms, we try to assist you, to help you be able to stand up on your own 2 feet and really to transform your lives and make sure that you are able to move ahead stronger and better.
Councillor for Toco Fishing Pond, Terry Rundon, says his only objective has been to make the people of Toco happy.
And what I want better than that in my people, I don't want anything for myself. I keep saying it and I'll say it. I have 2 television home, others only watch 1. I could only watch 1, you know. The same thing with a bed, I could only sleep on 1. So whatever I get is to share, is to give for the people. And today I'm happy.
Tonight's Positive Vibes segment was brought to you by Nescafe.
Well, it's time now for What You Saw, where we highlight the video and the photos you send us. The address, news@cnc3.co.tt.
These pictures come from Avinash Singh of Mayo Village, who says 2 years ago, the road in Mayo Village was paved. But Singh says 1 year later, these landslips developed. And this is what parts of the road look like now, and nothing was done since then. One of our viewers sent us pictures of a sign above the car park at Piako International Airport. It says Ola, spelled O-L-A. Our viewer says if they are trying to say hello, then it's supposed to be Ola with an H at the beginning. And finally, this video sent in to us by our viewer at number 1 Escrow Road Extension. Our viewer says it's where Cable View was situated many years ago, but has now abandoned and left its overgrown trees habitat for many insects and animals, including mosquitoes. Our viewer says this has been the situation for approximately 8 years or maybe more, and it's begging for the appropriate authorities to deal with it.
You too can send us your video and your photos. The address, news@cnc3.co.tt. Charlene, looking at that sign at the airport, I remember when it was first put up, there was another controversy in that Braille was put up there to say hello, and it caused some sort of controversy with the what do you call it? The challenged, visually challenged people who felt that it was some sort of disrespect to them. So that sign seems to be a source of a lot of controversy lately.
Of concern. I was actually just trying to probably Google the OLA to see if maybe that is, you know, I must admit I'm not a language expert, but to see it, maybe it means something. I mean, I would assume that Spanish is a pretty common language that people would know Ola as H-O-L-A, but, you know, I'm not getting anything so far. Well, okay. Well, thank you very much, Samson. We'll try and figure out maybe what is behind that sign, because it's a source of concern for people. Well, let me remind you of tonight's Your Vote question at this time. The question we're asking you to vote on is, do you agree that exposure to technology has contributed to the rise in crime among youths? Text your response to the number 2623. If your response is yes, you're texting the letter Y, and if it's no, the letter N. We'll give you an update on the voting during the newscast and the final vote at the end tonight. And here's what's around the corner in sport. Simoy Hackett finishes down the field in women's 200 final. But Kishon Walcott to throw for gold, making it to the men's javelin final. Jehu Gordon well pleased with his Olympic showing. Bolton Blake easily into men's 200 final. And we also tell you how the Great Race 2012 will cater to you, the spectator. Stay with us.
Suruj Pat, or Pat Matura, was a radio and television personality. His career as a broadcaster began at Radio Trinidad. He remained at the radio station from 1947 until April 1994. During that 47 years, he hosted the first East Indian radio program in the country, Songs of India, which began in 1953 and focused on culture and music on the subcontinent and around Trinidad. With national independence in 1962, Matura began hosting the Indian variety show on Trinidad and Tobago television, which ran until 1995. Apart from broadcasting, he was also active in national politics, becoming the mayor of Port of Spain in 1955. He would go on to receive the Hummingbird Gold Medal in 1995. In April 1994, he moved from 103 FM, the first radio station dedicated to East Indian programming. His final broadcasts would come from Masala Radio, where he hosted the show Vintage Favorites on Sundays. Matura remains the country's longest-serving radio broadcaster, as well as the youngest mayor of Trinidad's capital city, Port of Spain.
The 50 most influential personalities since independence. We want your view via text on Facebook and online at 50tt.guardian.co.tt.
extraordinary what you can see when you take a second look. Extraordinary is all around us. In the feelings we share, in the connections we make. In every captured moment. Share the extraordinary with Digicel.
For something nutty? Yeah! KC Candy Butternut Bar, the only one you truly need. The old-time, flaky, nutty, great-tasting KC bar. Having only one is just not enough for this great, nutritious, nutty treat. KC Candy Butternut Bar works for your craving. Available everywhere. KC Candy, we make every moment sweeter.
Ooh, can't concentrate. Can you pause it? I need to go to the bathroom.
No worries, go. Let's see what he has recorded here. Street Dogs, 101 Dalmatians, Scooby-Doo, Sex and the City.
Done. Man, you got a nice letterbox.
What letterbox?
My letterbox?
With DirecTV Plus, it's possible to record all your favorite shows and movies for just $239 a month. You can replay, pause, and rewind all your favorite shows, plus record more than 100 hours of television. Call us now at 672-8111. With DirecTV, everything is possible.
Smooth in, frizz out. Suave Professional's Keratin Infusion Shampoo and Conditioner is infused with keratin. It controls frizz for up to 48 hours. Salon proven to smooth as well as Kerastase Ban Oleo Relax.
A slow day at the games today when compared to the weekend gone, but definitely another day of performances to make the nation beam with pride. 3 Trinidad and Tobago athletes were in focus on day 13 of the London Olympics. 110-meter hurdler Wayne Davis, 200-meter sprinter Simoy Hackett, and javelinist Keyshawn Walcott. Jasty Marie tells us how they did. Away from the Olympics, motorsport in Trinidad and Tobago has received a major boost with a visit from the president of the International Automobile Federation and several executives. The Frenchman has pledged the backing of the International Federation for the Trinidad and Tobago Autosports Association, which is the recognized governing body. Jasty Marie Casmo.
In light of the ever-present and ongoing ramblings within the local motorsport industry, this sight to many would have seemed impossible. The bigwigs of the international racing world in Trinidad and Tobago to assess the domestic landscape, led by the international president, Jean Tot.
The main reason why we are here is to have a better understanding about our community and motorsport. You have developing countries who are doing very little motorsport, but we are here to encourage them to develop the motorsport in the country.
Tot is certainly not oblivious to the turbulence experienced in local circles, but urged that the various bodies unite for a common cause.
As long as there is communication, I don't have any problem. What is important is to achieve the result. And I mean, in a lot of countries, you have one national authority, one national federation, which is just then generating a contact with the people who are in charge of go-kart, the people in charge of drag racing, of rallying, of touring car championship. So for me, it is not a matter of the international body to decide on that.
This is the latest leg of a tour of the Caribbean and the Americas, and Todd says support is coming to the region.
With a goodwill, with a strong motivation, with a good group of people, and of course with the support of the region and the international body, I am optimistic that we can achieve a lot of good things together.
Reporting for CNC3 Sports, I am Jassi Merik.
A bit longer and more challenging, that's what participants will find along the course for this year's Carib Great Race that takes place on the morning of August 25th. Following up on adjustments to last year's edition, the Trinidad and Tobago Powerboat Association continues to make minor alterations to the course in order to make the race more spectator-friendly. Justin Marie tells us more.
If one were to list the most iconic annual sporting events on the Trinidad and Tobago calendar, certainly the Trinidad and Tobago Powerboat Association's Great Race, now called the Carib Great Race, ranks high. This year, the event celebrates its 44th annual running, and with organizers constantly looking for ways to usher the race into the modern era of sport while making it more spectator-friendly, there has been some tweaking to the course in recent times. This, they say, also makes it more challenging for the racers. Here's a preview of the course. The faster boats will make a lap around the Deans Bay. From the starting point in the Port of Spain Harbour, the faster boats will make a lap around the Deans Bay, then get back to the starting blocks near the Hyatt Regency, while the slow boats will make a shorter lap inside the same area. Upon getting back to the Hyatt, all classes embark on the main course bound for Tobago, taking the Isle through 5 islands. There, the slow boats, those under 95 miles per hour, take the inner course, while the faster machines take the route outside Kronstadt Carrera, outside of Gaspery, and then through the first Boca. But it's here the race is won and lost, because as we know, some boats get through the Bocas and some don't. Among those that do, however, the faster boats head into Maracas en route to Chaparro Point, giving the beachgoers a closer look. The slow boats will go straight to Chaparro, and from here all waters lead to Grand Riviere, where the faster boats diverge to Storbe, then go around the island through Lowlands, taking them to the finish at the Scarborough Esplanade. Reporting for CNC3 Sports, I am Jassi Merik.
Trinidad and Tobago cricketers enjoyed a good day today as both the under-19 cricketers and the women's team completed wins in their respective tournaments. After winning the toss and opting to bat in their round 1 regional 2020 match against St. Vincent and the Grenadines, Brittany Cooper and Deandra Doughton both struck 36 as TNT scored 158 for 3 in their 20 overs. In defense of that, Alisa Mohammed took 2 for 11 as the TNT girls reduced St. Vincent to 65 for 4. TNT won by 93 runs. In Barbados, TNT's under-19 boys dismissed Guyana for 245 to gain a first innings lead of 130 runs despite a valiant 102 from Ricardo Adams. TNT tried to force a result by declaring their second innings on 124 for 3, setting Guyana 255 runs to win from 45 overs, and went hard at the Guyanese batsmen, who just managed to hold on for a draw, ending the day on 117 for 4. TNT forced to settle for first innings points. In another item of cricket, retired South African wicketkeeper and the world's most capped stumped minder, Mark Boucher, has spoken about his horrific eye injury sustained back in July. Boucher lost the lens, pupil and iris in his left eye when a bail struck him while wicketkeeping for South Africa versus Somerset in England. Doctors have told him that he may never regain sight in the eye.
Yeah, all I really felt was a bail hitting my eye. I've looked at the replays and I can't see the ball actually hitting the eye. The guy who probably would know the most is Jacques standing at slip, and he seems to think that the ball actually helped the bail into my eye.
So it kind of went like that?
Yeah. I knew I was in trouble when my head hit the ground and I tried to open up my eye and I couldn't see much. I felt like a bit of a watery feeling. I knew some fluid was coming out of my eye. I thought it might have been blood. And the first thing you do is obviously put your hand up against your eye. And when I saw that there was no blood and there was a sort of a white stuff coming out of my eye, then I knew I was in a bit of trouble.
And from that terrible low story, we go to our sports high, perhaps to make you feel a bit better. Well, it provides those in authority and TNT on how they should honor our Olympic heroes. It's some ideas for that. And that's how we wrap up our sports cast. And we now continue with the news. And let's get a status report on the Your Vote. The question you're voting on tonight is, do you agree that exposure to technology has contributed to the rise in crime among youths? Text. Well, so far from your responses, I should say, 79% of you have voted in yes. You believe that their exposure to technology in various forms has contributed to the rise in crime, while 21% of you are so far voting in no. Well, remember, you still have a chance to get your vote in, and of course, you're texting the letter Y to the number 2623 if your answer is yes, and the letter N to the number 2623 if your answer is no. So be sure to get your vote in before the end of tonight's newscast when we close up that Your Vote question. Well, we're now going to take a short break, but coming up just ahead on the CNC3 News at 7, residents of Sum Hill protest in front of their MP's office, McLeod. They're calling on the Labour Minister to ensure that more jobs are made available to them. Stay with us to find out details of that story and more, weather after this break.
Whatever you have to do, we can't afford a general strike.
It's true. It has been proven that coffee is a natural source of antioxidants because it comes from coffee cherries. And like some other fruits, it provides an important amount of antioxidants. I drink several cups a day, and when I do it, I enjoy more than the aroma and the taste I love. Another good reason to drink Nescafe.
Marshall, check this.
I stuck in traffic.
B-Mobile, TNT's #1 mobile network.
This really one back, it can depend on friendly service every day. It's really one standard of treating you like you deserve to be. Yeah, Republic is only the best to you. We get personal attention, so explain for your inspection.
I think as an artist, it's important to know who you are and what you're for. It's always good to come back home, come back to base, to my roots. If we are a dot, let's be the most creative, passionate, energetic dot they've ever seen. I for that. It's just that amazing simplicity that I love about Trinidad that continues to inspire me. What are you proud about? Tell us on Twitter by tweeting I4TANDT.
Where there's love for country, there's energy. Where there's energy, there's BPTT.
It's so pumpy! Wow!
It's so pumpy!
New Minute Maid Pumpy is here! Refreshing orange juice drink with real fruit pulp. Pulp up your life with new Minute Maid Pumpy.
Completed dreams bring a lifetime of happiness. Lifetime Solutions can make it all real. With window doors and roofing styles, you can choose your design. Just tell us your budget and we'll find the right fit. We are innovation ahead of the game. So affordable,
Lifetime Solutions. You can trust your roof to us. Lifetime Solutions. Lifetime Solutions. You can trust your roof to us.
We're testing new Degree, the only antiperspirant activated directly by movement. Activating protection, Bear! The more you move, the more it works. New long-lasting Degree with motion sense. Not me! Keep running.
We now go across to Eric Mackey for a look at your weather. Eric.
Thank you, Charlene. Well, Tropical Storm Ernesto is still in the picture. As you recall, last night, Ernesto became a hurricane just before it went ashore here in the Yucatan Peninsula. It's crossed across the entire Yucatan Peninsula at this point, getting into the extreme southern edge of the Gulf of Mexico, down in the Bay of Campeche area. Now, normally, systems that form up in this area get pulled up into the Gulf of Mexico and possibly into the U.S., somewhere between Texas and Florida. However, conditions this time not allowing that, and this system is going to continue westward and go back ashore again in the Bay, in Veracruz area, right around here, between tonight and tomorrow. It's considerably weakened from what it was before, but still 45 knots, winds gusting to 55, and moving in a westward direction at around 11 knots. So it's going to go ashore here, get up into the Mexican mainland, up into the mountains and stuff like that, and will dissipate. In the meantime, huge amounts of rainfall have fallen in this area. Lots of flooding and landslides and so on happening there. So not a very nice situation indeed. And this is now 24 hours that it's in this area. So a lot of rainfall has fallen, lots of very nasty conditions for a very long time. Closer to home, we've got an area of disturbed weather out to the east of us. It's a 30% chance of development tonight. The forecast model showing it coming into the island chain on Sunday, around the same area that Ernesto passed just around a week ago at this point in time, and heading into the Caribbean Sea as well. Once it gets into the Caribbean Sea, not sure yet where it's going to go. And this hasn't developed yet, but some forecast models indicating either a depression or a tropical storm coming into the central Caribbean yet again. Closer to home, we have an area of clear air out to the east of us, a bit of ridge of high pressure. There's also some Sahara dust around in the Saharan air layer, keeping things a bit dry. So we expect that we'll have some sunshine and 1 or 2 showers during the day, very similar to how it was today, but possibly a little bit drier than today was. The wind will be around 8 to 12 knots, pretty light, gusting as high as 18 and out to an east-southeast to easterly direction. The seas are forecast to be around 1.5 meters with an 8 to 9 second interval between the swells. They are to an east to east-northeasterly direction. The Gulf of Paria Sea should remain below 1 meter. Trinidad tonight is going to be mostly fair. There's a chance for a shower tonight, so it'll be 24 degrees. Tomorrow we're looking at mostly sunny conditions at first, but by midday into early afternoon, we're looking at the daytime heating producing 1 or 2 showers, and there's a small chance of a thunderstorm favoring the western areas of Trinidad tomorrow afternoon. Tomorrow's high will be 33 degrees. Across in Tobago tonight, mostly fair and a low of 25. And Tobago tomorrow, partly sunny, isolated shower in the forecast over there. Again, just a small chance of a thunderstorm, and tomorrow's high there forecast to be 30. Sun's going to rise at 5:55 a.m. and sets at 6:26 p.m. The first low tide for Port of Spain will be at 2:55 a.m. and for Scarborough 3:12. First high tide 9:01 a.m. for Port of Spain and 9:16 for Scarborough. And that's my weather report for now. We'll have a look at the travelers' forecast and we'll take a short break, and when we come back, Charlene will have some more news for you.
Come on and get it sorted, get more out of your day. Get things done efficiently. Let's go with it. Come on and just drink it, people. Drink it up now, drink it up now. Drink it up now, drink it up now. Oh.
Enjoy the new look and same great taste today. Ginseng up, the roots of all power.
When I was little, I stuttered so bad and was really embarrassed by that. The teacher always used to call on students in the class. I'd be sitting there like, please don't call me. I'm gonna read it, I'm gonna stutter, everybody's gonna laugh at me. Shaquille, would you like to read page 19? Just be like, I'll take the 0. You know, I still stutter to this day, but I'm more cool with it now. Like if I get ready to stutter, I'll just give you to throw you off balance. My name is Shaquille O'Neal, and I am definitely comfortable in my own skin.
Preparing wooden surfaces. All wood surfaces must be properly prepared. Fill all nail holes, cracks and other defects with wood filler. Allow to dry and then sand the entire surface to a smooth finish. Remove all sanding dust, grease and other contaminants and allow to dry.
You're talking to your best friend when
you're going to clean their family.
You get cash back.
Yeah, darling.
You're talking to your best friend when you realize you're always a winner. You're talking to your best friend when you get a makeover. You suddenly feel like dancing. Every dog gets its day. You have your cake and eat it too. Night falls. You're talking to your best friend. Whatever else happens, always get extraordinary value with Digicel. Get $1 cash back for every paid minute on local Digi-to-Digi calls made during the day, so you can talk more at night. Be extraordinary. Digicel.
Welcome back. Members of the Sumsum Hill Development Group are demanding that their MP Errol McLeod step up and help them. The angry residents say they have had several meetings with McLeod and have taken him to see the problematic points in the Sumsum Hill community. They believe that the MP will not go up for re-election and hopes to just ignore their concerns for his remaining years in office.
We are asking that we have road for children to walk, pavement. We have a makeshift basketball court where was maintained under the last regime. It's dilapidated. We are asking that to be fixed. There are roads, right? We are asking for people to be helped with food cards. Simple things. We all be asking for what we vote for.
Protested outside McLeod's constituency office today, despite it being closed today. But they say it does not matter. They will continue their action until something is done. They also told CNC3 News that they have tried to meet with other ministers as well. The residents say unemployment in the area is also high as the CPEP program was stopped about 3 years ago.
We vote for this partnership for betterment, and it's sad when our MP don't have time to meet with people. We came here last week Friday, asked to meet him. All we wanted was to organize some flags, some national flags for the ground. We plan to clean the ground in our area, right? Because the ground has been dormant for the past 3 or 4 years, right? We have contractors in the area coming on board to facilitate, to bring back the ground to a standard. And we have an MP who refused to do nothing.
We now take a short break. Stay with us.
This Independence Day is special. So at Subway for the whole month of August, the treat's on us. That's right. When you buy any foot-long Subway sandwich during August, we will give you a treat free. Choose from any of our decadent offerings. Cookies, muffins, brownies, even Soldanza chips. So stop by any of our 42 Subway stores for your next footlong and let us treat you. Happy Independence Day. Subway, eat fresh.
Mrs. B is happy. She's happy because she knows every bottle of Smolta is filled with B vitamins, ideal for growth, concentration, and vitality. Give them their B's. Smolta, because you love them.
This
This year, the number is 50. Our Independence, Unique Books, and Sports Center too. But I am far from that number. So check Unique for new and used books for primary and secondary schools at the lowest prices. Bring in your used school books and get instant cash. They have book bags, stationery, and school shoes get 33 1/3% off. Unique Books and Sports Center, Port of Spain, Chaguanas, San Fernando, and Pinal.
My brand new skin is so sensitive, but somehow, Mom, you just know it's best to use Johnson's Head to Toe. The really gentle stuff. You're good, Mom. And by good, I mean great.
I believed in myself. I knew I was going to make my country proud. Was I scared? No. It was my proudest moment. I felt I was on top of the world. What makes me proud about Trinidad and Tobago? The belief in ourselves and the ability to win, despite the odds. What are you proud about? Tell us on Twitter by tweeting #IPortTNT.
Where there's love for country, there's energy. Where there's energy, there's BPTT.
We now bring you a summary of the main international stories of today.
Fighting for key districts in the Syrian city of Aleppo. Rebels deny that the government is now in control of their stronghold. Massive military operation in Sinai as the Egyptian military say it's killed 20 militants. Over 1 million people now affected by torrential rain in the Filipino capital, Manila. More than half of the city is underwater.
We now take a short break. Stay with us.
Listen up, people, to this spot about rainbow products and why they're hot. Corned beef's not the only thing they've got, so put a rainbow in your pot. Canned and dried goods just for you. Vienna sausages and tuna too. Oil, milk, rice, peas, and carrots, so put a rainbow in your pot.
Now that's a lot.
That's right, I said a lot. So put a rainbow in your pot. Yeah, put a rainbow in your pot. Put a rainbow in your pot.
The Rainbow range of first-class food products. Available nationwide.
It's quick and it's easy, and with just one call, Handyman Matters can do it all. Handyman Matters, you give peace of mind, and I'll guarantee your work's done right.
There's one in all of us. Don't drink and drive.
I love what you drink.
Designate a friend so you can lime again. Be the one. A message from the Trinidad and Tobago Beverage Alcohol Alliance.
The final results of tonight's Your Vote, 77% of you voted in yes, 23% of you voted in no. You don't agree that technology has contributed to the rise in crime among youth. Well, as we go, let's just tell you that OLA is Portuguese for hello. So let's give the authorities there the benefit that they weren't doing something silly, OLA. So just for our viewer who had that concern, OLA is Portuguese for hello. And that's how we end the 7 o'clock news here on CNC3. We thank you so much for joining us and sending us all your concerns as well. I'm Charlene Ramdani.
And I'm Samson Nanton. Have a good night.